In the royal halls of Eldoria, the walls were lined with tapestries that depicted tales of valor and courage, and it was here that the echoes of the past mingled with the present. The princess, towering above her peers and clad in a suit of polished armor, strode through these echoing corridors with a fierce sense of purpose. Every clang of her heavy boots seemed to announce her defiance against the stereotypes that surrounded her. Unlike the princesses who had come before, she was not a figure, confined to gilded cages. Her life was a testament to an unyielding spirit seeking something far beyond the boundaries of convention. Her lineage held the weight of many generations, warriors who had carved their legacies in the annals of history, forging kingdoms and winning battles against both man and myth. The tales of her ancestors resonated within her, urging her to carry forth their legacy. And yet, at every turn, she felt the weight of expectation bearing down upon her. The elders whispered of marriage alliances with distant lands, plotting her future as if she were a mere pawn on a vast chessboard. Beneath the surface, however, surged an unquenchable fire, the drive to establish her own legacy. Each morning before dawn, the princess would awaken with the sun, her breath misted in the cold air as she rehearsed her drills. Her grip on the sword was firm, the weapon as familiar to her as her own heartbeat. The steel felt alive in her hands, an extension of her spirit, as if it too sought to triumph over a world that saw size and strength as intimidating rather than inspiring. In those moments carved out from the stillness of night, she would envision herself not as a solitary figure, but as a leader of her people, commanding respect not just through her lineage, but through the battles she would one day fight. The training yard was her sanctuary, a sacred ground where ferocity met grace. Here, she was not defined by her royal title, but rather by the battle scars she earned and the strength she cultivated. Her instructors were seasoned warriors, some old and weary, others brimming with youthful energy, but all aware of her extraordinary potential. They delivered their teachings with a mixture of reverence and humility, recognizing that beneath the armor was a heart poised between duty and desire. Yet, the shadow of her royal heritage cast a longer shadow than she imagined. Her aspirations flickered like a candle in the wind, threatened by the unspoken fear of failure to meet familial expectations. It seemed that the louder her sword rang in training, the quieter the hearts around her became. Even the bravest of suitors hesitated to approach, intimidated by her prowess, their eyes flickering with a mixture of admiration and trepidation. She yearned for a camaraderie that transcended the roles cast upon her. The idea that love, when it finally chose to surface, could come not from admiration of her strength, but from a shared understanding of her journey lingered as a bittersweet dream. In the depths of her desires rested a singular question. Could a heart so strong and fierce ever find the gentleness it craved? The warriors of her bloodline had forged paths through battles, but the journey she faced within the castle walls was a different kind of war altogether. A battle for acceptance, understanding, and ultimately, the love that would dare to stand beside her, fearless and unwavering. As the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting an amber glow over the castle walls, courtiers gathered in the great hall, their whispers filled with equal parts admiration and worry for their beloved warrior princess. Her reputation had grown not only in strength, but in an aura that transcended mere martial prowess. Each suitor that approached her began with glimmering hopes, only to flounder under the weight of her unwavering spirit. They approached with initial bravado, their hearts thrumming with tales of valor. Yet, as they stepped into the arena of her presence, confidence wavered like a candle flickering in a tempest. It was not mere brawn that the princess sought. It was an elusive quality that danced between courage and cunning, loyalty and respect, traits that fled the very presence of those who meant to woo her. Among the many, there was Sir Calder, a knight known for his silver tongue and polished armor. He arrived at dawn, hoping to capture her eye with a melodious serenade. his voice rang through the courtyard, drawing the attention of the guards and the occasional curious maiden. He poured out verses that painted her as a celestial being enshrined in battle, his eyes pleading for her gaze. Yet she remained resolutely unmoved, observing him with an expression akin to amusement mingled with pity. When his performance concluded with an exaggerated flourish, all that met him was a hearty laugh from the princess, a gesture that stung like ice water. The following week, Lord Heydrich, a man of means and glory, attempted a different approach. He arrived clad in a tapestry of jewels, his intentions smothered beneath a mountain of gold. A banquet was prepared, with delicacies fit for gods, intending to dazzle her with excess while proclaiming his unwavering devotion. Yet, as he recounted tales of his exploits, the princess caught the glimmer of self-importance in his eyes. Her laughter resonated like a bell tolling the truth, rebuffing him as she deftly redirected the conversation to matters of strategy and honor. His grand display withered under her scrutiny, revealing his hunger for recognition rather than genuine affection. With each passing month, a parade of suitors came and went, each misstep forming a tapestry of blunders that reminded the court of the chasm between their world and that of the princess. A particularly boastful lord tried his hand at combat, challenging her to a duel as a means of proving his worth. The arrogance in his stance faltered when she simply raised an eyebrow and disarmed him with a flick of her wrist, his sword clattering to the ground and his pride crumbling into dust at her feet. These displays turned the court's chatter into merry jest. Each failed pursuit explored the depths of humanity's complexities, tying courage to foolishness and love to misunderstanding. Yet, amidst the laughter and the trials, a subtle change began to weave itself into the tales spun within the great hall. The princess's heart, fortified against the whims of men, grew oddly reflective in the face of her suitor's earnestness, even in their failings. Each retreating figure left behind not just disappointment, but a question that lingered. What, after all, did it mean to truly love a warrior? As the sun began its ascent, casting golden rays across the polished training grounds, the princess adjusted the grip of her sword, feeling the familiar weight settle in her palm. Each movement was a dance, fluid, deliberate, full of purpose. But as she thrust the blade against the wooden training dummy, her mind wandered to prospects far beyond mere combat. Today was not just another rehearsal. A tingling anticipation coiled within her. The letter, so unexpectedly delivered, had ignited a fire deep within her. The call to adventure was more than a noble invitation. It was a beacon, and she felt as though the universe had conspired to lead her towards it. The twilight of possibilities surrounded her like a thick fog, beckoning her to step forward and uncover what lay hidden beneath the mundane routine of her royal existence. Yet the challenge was twofold. To partake in the tournament would mean shedding the layers of the princess she had been molded into and embracing the warrior who resided within. With each precise strike at the training dummy, she imagined the realms she could traverse, the lands that whispered wonders, the towns brimming with tales of valor, all waiting for her to etch her legend among them. Would she confront giants and swordsmen tempered by the fires of countless battles? Were there hearts out there that mirrored her own, souls equally yearning for something deep and profound, free of pretense? The thought sent exhilarating shivers down her spine. The more she envisioned herself on foreign plains, competing among the bravest, the more invigorated she felt. She longed for the adrenaline rush of a challenge, the camaraderie forged in battle. With each cut and jab against the dummy, she shaped her purpose. Would she find respect? Would she command the attention of unexpected allies? Perhaps even love? The foreboding question hung over her like an unsheathed sword, ready to fall. Yet, as enchanting as these thoughts were, a flicker of doubt lingered in the corners of her mind. The code of her kingdom was clear. Daughters of the crown did not seek glory on foreign soil. They were molded for diplomacy, poised to settle matters of state with words, not weapons. But deep within her heart, the call was far louder than the chorus of tradition. She was not simply a pawn in a political game. She was the architect of her own destiny. After a grueling hour of training, the sun hung higher in the sky, illuminating her sweat-drenched brow and the determination etched upon her features. With each passing moment, the decision to seize her fate solidified. The princess would embrace the unknown. She would answer the call of the tournament, traverse the landscapes of her dreams, and prove that, beneath the regal exterior lay a force to be reckoned with. Adventure awaited, and she would not shy away from the opportunity to explore it all, be it through challenge or the whispers of love yet to be discovered. As she stepped into the arena, a wave of emotions surged through her, each sensation sharper and more vibrant than the last. The air was thick with anticipation, the crowd's voices twisting into a single electrifying roar that resonated in her chest. Warrior after warrior filled the arena, each clad in distinctive armor that gleamed in the sun, banners waving high like proud peacocks displaying their feathers. The noble blood and noble hearts of men and women alike pulsed with excitement, yet amidst their chatter, her eyes sought an anchor, an ally among the sea of competitors. Her companions flanked her, their expressions a mix of pride and encouragement. They had traveled miles together, facing countless trials, each step forward binding them closer together. She exchanged a glance with her closest friend, a silent promise passing between them. Win or lose, together they would conquer this challenge. The scent of sweat and ambition filled the air as warriors prepared their strategies, minds racing through possibilities like lightning across the sky. The horn blared, and the tournament commenced in a spectacular display of ferocity. She took a deep breath, letting the adrenaline surge through her body, igniting the fire within. The first challenger approached, broad-shouldered and imposing, wielding a sword that seemed to catch the light with each movement. A low murmur rippled through the crowd, a predatory anticipation tinged with tension. This was not merely a fight. It was a dance of lives intertwined, woven through history and valor. As they clashed, steel meeting steel, every strike became a melody of purpose. With each calculated movement, she forged her path, her heart racing not just with the thrill of the fight, but also with the weight of her aspirations. The crowd's cheers surged with each well-placed blow, their energy a potent reminder of why she fought. There was no room for doubt or fear. The face of the warrior she fought was etched into her mind, equal parts rival and reflection of her own struggles. Her blows were fluid, channeling her strength and focus into an art form. She led with grace, allowing the rhythm of battle to guide her. But there were moments of hesitation, quick flickers of doubt that sparked within. Beyond the shouts and the excitement, she wondered if the arena was merely a stage for showcasing power. Was that all her life would become, a series of battles fought in the sunlight, with the shadows of her true dreams cast aside? As she secured her victory and the cheers of the crowd became a tide pulling her forward, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was something deeper calling her, something beyond the arena walls. Each defeat of an opponent only served to illuminate the lingering question in her heart. What lay beyond the glory of this tournament? Would she find meaning beyond the sword's edge in the space where her heart yearned to wander? Each conquered foe only deepened her curiosity, a curiosity that would soon weave its way into the very fabric of her reality. In those fleeting interludes between her duels, awe morphed into something more profound. With each match that unfolded, the air around her buzzed with whispers of respect and admiration for those who fought not merely to win, but to prove something deeper, to themselves and each other. It was within this unexpected camaraderie that she found a curious mirror reflecting her own innermost struggles. The gestures of encouragement exchanged amidst fierce competition felt like warm tendrils reaching out, tugging at her heart, hinting at a world where strength wore a gentler face. As she observed her fellow competitors, she noticed the way they leaned into each other when triumph was bittersweet, or how they shared a brief embrace after a hard-fought battle. There was something undeniably beautiful about their ability to celebrate each other's victories, even when it meant setting aside their own ambitions, if only for a moment. Such demonstrations ignited a flicker of hope within her, a hope that perhaps strength was not just about dominating others, but also about the vulnerability of allowing oneself to be supported in return. Questions began to swirl in her mind like autumn leaves caught in a gentle breeze. Was she enough? Not merely as a warrior, but as a person searching for connection? Did she have the fortitude to break through the barriers she had so diligently constructed? The walls made of past hurts and fears that had protected her also imprisoned her, and the more she pondered this, the more she recognized the tug of longing to truly feel love, trust, and even friendship. She recalled the stories of those around her, their own battles fought not only in the arena, but within their hearts. Each fighter came with their burdens. Some carried the weight of expectations, others the scars of betrayal or loss. Yet, they were willing to share their burdens as they forged alliances, and in doing so, they revealed an unexpected tenderness. Could she, too, allow her heart to experience such tenderness? Could she take a leap of faith? The thought of vulnerability terrified her, yet it also stirred a tentative excitement. She began to visualize a different kind of strength, one that embraced imperfections and acknowledged the beauty in being open. The prospect of reaching out to another, to let someone glimpse the raw essence of her being, felt both exhilarating and daunting. With each passing day, she felt the walls around her heart quiver, their foundations growing weaker. It was a metamorphosis wrapped in uncertainty, yet she felt an indomitable drive urging her forward, a call to explore not just the boundaries of her physical strength, but also the uncharted landscapes of her emotional self. Amidst the clang of swords and the roar of the crowd, she ventured deeper into her own soul, preparing to confront the mysteries hidden beneath her resilient exterior. That was where the true battle awaited her. The sun dipped low in the sky, bathing the arena in hues of gold and crimson as the final round commenced. The audience, a sea of faces wrought with anticipation, fell silent, their collective breath held as two titans prepared to clash. She stood opposite him, the rival who had piqued her interest, his presence a complex contradiction, a formidable foe, yet an unexpected ally. His confidence exuded from every pore, and within that confident stance lay a noble heart, one that mirrored the very essence of her own warrior spirit. As the horn sounded, signaling the beginning of their duel, everything around her faded into a blur. Each strike he made was met with her own, the dance of combat swirling around them. The clang of weapons, the rhythm of footfalls, each echoing against the breathless hush of the crowd, created a symphony of skill and power. Yet, as they maneuvered through feints and parries, a shift occurred. She could see the respect in his eyes, a reflection of her own admiration for his unwavering determination. They were locked in a battle, but beneath the surface, a current of camaraderie surged between them. No longer was this merely a contest. It evolved into an exploration. With every blow and counter, she found fragments of his spirit that resonated with her own. A shared journey of relentless pursuit, of trials faced and fears conquered. There was something glorious in how they matched each other's ferocity, and as the fight progressed, the lines between competitor and companion began to blur. His smile, tentative yet genuine, sparked a warmth within her, a reminder that strength could indeed coexist with vulnerability. In their blinding speed, she perceived the intricate dance of understanding begin to unfold. Moments passed like wisps of smoke, but time was barely a factor as their movements became more attuned, their eyes locking with an intensity that reached far beyond mere rivalry. It was a revelation, one that stripped away the layers of competition to reveal the beating hearts beneath their armored exteriors. She felt the walls she had so carefully built around her heart begin to tremble, crack, and finally yield to an unfamiliar tenderness. The same specter of admiration that he reflected back at her now welcomed her in, encouraging her to embrace this undeniable connection. As the match reached its zenith, she found herself smiling, a genuine, unbridled expression of joy. In that moment, clashing swords became less about victory and more about the journey they shared, both physically and emotionally. Was it possible that amidst their fierce exchanges lay the seeds of something profoundly meaningful? As he parried her strongest thrust and countered, with a swift, graceful maneuver, she felt an awakening within, the realization that surrendering to this bond did not diminish her might. Instead, it enriched her, weaving love into the fabric of her strength. When the final blow was struck, it wasn't just the sound of metal on metal that lingered in the air, but the beginnings of a promise that in the heart of battle, fierce rivals could also become kindred spirits. And as they stepped back, breathless yet exhilarated, she recognized that this formidable warrior was no longer just an opponent. He was a friend, a partner, and perhaps a much more profound connection waiting to unfold.